This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey.
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke.
It's more like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana politics. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is the 717th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, still with no haircut. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. It's driving me crazy. I don't think tomorrow's the day, but hopefully, fingers crossed. I got a busy day tomorrow, but then hopefully Tuesday we'll have the haircut. I'll have the shave.
You can blame it on the flood.
I'll be really honest.
Get to the barber and your house. I mean, you need to be there to make sure everything was okay at the house. You can blame this on the flood.
Yeah. No, that's in all seriousness. That's all seriousness what happened. Even in between. Have you guys been getting like massive downpours today?
Yes.
On and off?
Yes. I was up all night with the dog because he does not take thunder very well.
Yeah.
And
thunder last night was wild.
Yeah. It was
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. The
great
dog
sleeping,
did not like
great,
it.
Yeah, that's no good.
And Benadryl does not work. I tried. It did not work. Poor Buppy. And then today we had it this morning.
Yeah.
And then I drove Niles to the airport for the window in between, and I hit Modoc with another downpour.
Oh, yeah.
But that only lasted about 5 minutes, and then I was out of it. So
yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, the rain today was wild.
Yeah, I think they're calling for more tonight, too.
Yep. Yeah, and it was supposed to be fixed. It was supposed to be basically done. We were going to be drying out this week, and now I think the forecast says, we got some more rain, I think, tomorrow, Tuesday. We got some. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
My mother said that if anybody can figure out how, they will happily take the rain where she's at, down in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I talked to her tonight, and she said, just send it her way. I think if we all work together, maybe we can wish it south.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been crazy. I know that there's a lot of people elsewhere in the country that are dealing with like flood or drought conditions and extreme heat and all that. And I'll tell you, the extreme heat's not going away. I opened the door today. I actually, when I came upstairs, I thought it was foggy. I didn't understand. I opened the door and it was like downpour rain, like just that hard, just straight down raining like it was, and it did it for like 30 minutes. But the heat was like so oppressive. It felt like someone was blowing me with a heat gun. And I'm like, man, that's really weird when it's like raining like that, but also it's hot. It's kind of gross.
Florida weather.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
it was not good. It was definitely crazy. So
it was like 91 driving to the airport, and then it started raining and it dropped down to 80.
80, but with real high heat index. So humidity is what I meant. I saw Alva said horrible. The humidity was horrible.
Yeah. So I said you have an excuse this time, but really this week you need to do something. Darla has offered in the comments that she will share you with
their new bathroom too.
Huh?
And I can use their new their new bathroom too.
It's okay. Liam's on my case. He needs a haircut too. So it'll be haircut week here too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm gonna try to go. I think Tuesday is gonna be the day. Tuesday's gonna be my day. So make sure tomorrow, everybody. See, Jackie keeps saying, get on a rotating schedule. That's what I do. That's what I do. I am on a rotating schedule every 6 months. I messed up. She said 6 weeks. I put in, is that MO? Or wait,
I think what the problem is that I know women, when we get our hair cut shorter, we always talk about there being that weird in-between length where it's not long, but it's not short either. It's frustrating. And I think that's where you're at in man version. So if you let it go another 6 months,
it would
be
all
okay.
Right. Yeah.
But you're at that weird in-between stage.
Yeah, I'm always at that in between because I'll get my hair cut on Tuesday, and by the week after next, it'll be this long again. So that my hair grows like no other. I tell you what, the amount of hair that I have, it's definitely a blessing. You
could just do what I do. I cut my bangs, and the rest of it just never gets chopped.
I can just
ever.
Cut this right up here. I wish I could put it back. If I could put it back in that would be horrible. I'm
man bun,
guys. Yeah, I can't do that. That's not something I can pull off.
Yeah.
So I just hate the time.
Try.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true too.
Or you could just try a Thornburg and just shave it all off.
I've done that before, and that's not. My head's too knotty and bumpy. What's that guy's name? What was the guy's name that had the head back here? Also had the. You know who I'm talking about? I figured if anybody
Professor Quirrell and Voldemort on the back of his head.
No, man.
You asked me that question. I don't know.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew. Yeah. Let's see here. Edward Mordrake.
Okay.
Man with a face on the back of his head is Edward Mordrake, often spelled Mordrake, a famous 19th century urban legend. According to the tale, he was an English nobleman born with a second, some say demonic-looking face on the back of his head that could not see or eat, but allegedly whispered horrible things to him at night before he died by suicide at the age of 23 because he needed to stop the voice.
Oh.
Yeah, I figured you would have known that, but
no, sorry.
I was going to call him Mandrake. I didn't want to. I thought that's what I was going to say. I don't like getting things wrong, and that's what I thought. It was Mandrake, but it's Mordrake, Edward Mordrake. I figured you knew that. I guarantee you, if you look it up, you'll know what it is. You will have seen it at some point in your life.
I'm sure.
It's kind of a Kate nerdy type of a thing.
Oh, well, thank you.
That you would like.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, we'll leave you to the politics now.
Thank you very much. Well, and it's funny that she says that. I'll be honest, it's not going to be very political. We're going to talk a little bit about a couple things. Look, I'll be honest. There's a lot of stuff going on where we are, yeah, right, Charlize. And it also, see, it's a blessing and a curse because it's those little nuggets that keep a few people tuning in. It's also those little nuggets that keep people from tuning in. So it is what it is. I've seen the picture of it. It's all fake. That Edward Mordrake thing. I think it was for a kind of like the bearded woman and the crab hand guy, like a freak show, traveling freak show. They did. It was something to do with that, I believe, is what I recall. You know where I saw it? I saw it on no, the show was not Ripley's Believe It or Not. I like that. No, the show that I saw that that thing on was In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. Never a Star Trek fan. However, I loved In Search Of, and I watched that on there back a long time ago. So, okay, like every other night, we're going to try to deal with this and get through it. We are going to have a fix one of these days. So, well, the problem is, the bottom line is, it's getting our internet provider to do some things on their end and then our Hoosier technology people being able to then get the fix into the house. So we have an appointment with Xfinity on Tuesday morning. So they should be here, and then after that, hopefully we will get this fixed, because I tell you what, it's literally killing me. I mean, I dread it. I have never in my entire life dreaded doing a show. And for the last 3 weeks, I've hated the thought of doing the show, because I have to battle it. Then afterwards, I go through and I try to do a bunch of editing to clear it up for the people that listen to it on repeat. So normally what happens is it sucks for people on repeat because of commercials and things, but you guys get the good. But lately I've been fixing it like in post, and they will happen. And that's the thing, is you could really win some good money on that, because the problem is the internet's probably not going to be fixed Tuesday, because that will just be one half of the equation. So after that, that one half of that equation, we will then have to do the second part of the equation. So Tuesday's only kind of a limited fix. Okay, so while things are going well here, yes, it will be a new technician. We have already cleared that up, and we have been promised that would be happening. So yeah, that'll be happening. So Kate said, well, I'll let you get to the politics. And I was getting ready to say, that there's not a lot of politics. There's a lot of things going on right now, and we're in the middle of a lot of things, but that was kind of paused because of the weather, of the horrible weather situation. There are a lot of questions that I'm still waiting on, a lot of record requests that I'm still waiting on, and a lot of things happening. But all of that is technically on hold right now, because we've had this once in a lifetime historic flood situation. And, there's been so much happening. Sadly, loss of life in this situation, and major property loss, that it just doesn't feel right for me to come on here and be bitching about Jeff Green responding to emails, or what's going on with the Muncie Fire Department's build. I mean, all of those things are very important things, and we will get back to that, obviously. That being said, I just don't feel that that's something that we can really be diving into with all of this other stuff going on. With that being said, there is a political aspect to it, because there is a question that's been asked in all of this, and there's been a lot. So before we get into the politics part of this historic event, I do feel like we need to make mention of the fact that sadly, yesterday, Saturday, August 15th, 2026, they did announce that they unfortunately found the body of Matthew Morey, and that's just a horrible situation. The sheriff's department put out a post, and they, stated that he was found, and that obviously he was deceased, and so that's it's just a horrible situation there. I hate it for his family. I hate it for his friends, specifically the buddies that was with him when they went in the water. It's just a horrible thing. And there was nobody had any ill intent. There was nothing happening, that was to do anybody harm. They were just some buddies hanging out. And as we said that night, oftentimes people, specifically young men, do dumb things, and it unfortunately cost him his life. And so the post that was put out, the update that was put out yesterday afternoon, we posted it. The body of 18-year-old Matthew Morey was found by DNR, Department of Natural Resources, in the Mississinawa River. Delaware County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Jeff Stanley sent out a press release. Delaware County, Indiana, the Sheriff's Department has confirmed that the search for 18-year-old, I think there's a little bit of discrepancy if he's 18 or 19. Yeah, it's just a year. I don't really know what the deal is there, but it is what it is. It was concluded after his body was recovered from the Mississinawa River. He was a Delta High School graduate who was preparing to attend Ball State University. He had been missing since Wednesday evening, August 12th, 2026, when emergency personnel responded to the area after 4 individuals reported to have entered the river. 3 of those individuals were safely recovered, and the extensive search for Morey began. Over the past several days, first responders with public safety personnel from across Delaware County and the state of Indiana have worked tirelessly along the Mississinawa River. Search efforts include boats, UAVs, aircraft, canine teams, personnel walking the riverbanks, and other specialized resources. At times, the rising water, swift currents, and dangerous debris forced the search to adjust or suspend portions of the search to protect those involved. From the beginning, first responders committed to Morey's family that they would not give up until they had answers. Did I say he was going to attend Purdue, or did I say someplace else? I thought I said that. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. And hey, the other day when that happened, I went back and I viewed it because I said something, and then immediately Jackie clarified, and she said the Selma sink is out on State Road 32 East. And I was like, I know I said that. But when I went back, I listened to it, and I didn't say that. I erroneously said State Road 3. So I understand why she corrected me. And listen, when Jackie corrects me, she's on it. So I normally won't question that. So now it makes me wonder if I said Purdue or not. Did I said BSU? Good Lord. I'm reading it, literally reading it. I must have said BSU. That's horrible. Well, that's, how much I don't like Purdue. Must have crept in my mind from my unconscious. Yeah, he's attending Purdue. It's on my screen. He's attending Purdue University. My apologies to the Purdue fans. I'm glad you're out there watching and correcting. Thank you. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, I know. Brandon will get me for that. Going back to this, there are no words that can ease the pain of losing a child. This, just absolutely heartbreaking. Our hearts will be with the Morey family, friends, classmates, and everyone who knew and loved him. The community is asked to continue to keep his family in their thoughts and prayers, respect their privacy as they grieve this just horribly tragic loss. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office sincerely thanks every agency, responder, volunteer, and individual who assisted throughout the operation. And to include the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, the Indiana State Police, the Muncie Police Department, Muncie Fire Department, Eaton Fire Department, Eaton EMS, Eaton Police Department, the Delaware County EMS, Delaware County Emergency Management Agency, Albany Fire Department, Albany Police Department, Delaware County Highway Department, Yorktown Fire Department, Blackford County Sheriff's Office, Kokomo Fire Department, First In, Last Out Ministries, K-9, Delaware County Coroner's Office, 3D Construction, Jacob Case, and many, many more. This was just an absolutely unified effort. Agencies and individuals came together with one goal, and that was to bring Maury home to his family. First responders and public safety personnel worked long hours and showed absolute dedication, professionalism, and cooperation from everyone involved. Chief Deputy Stanley wants to thank the community for their tremendous support shown to the Maury family and the first responders throughout the search. Once again, Delaware County showed what it means to come together during a difficult time. Above all, our thoughts and prayers need to remain with the family and everyone whose life was touched by Matthew Maury and this just absolutely tragic loss. So I want to put this out here, and as we do, I do want to take a moment of a moment to reflect and a moment of silence for Matthew Maury. Tragically, Matthew's not the only person, just absolutely heartbreakingly, is not the only person locally here that was lost in this deal. There was another individual, and I hadn't heard about this until late after this had happened. I had only learned of this well after it had happened, and so I'm just now really starting to get information on all of this. But there was a woman who sadly was traveling with her puppy on Bell Creek Road over in the Yorktown area, lived over in the Yorktown area, and she and her dog were traveling on Bell Creek Road and went into water, and unfortunately the water rushed her off the roadway, and she made the decision for we don't know what was going on, but made the decision to leave her car and left her dog in her car, left the water, and I'm thinking, because of what we now know, got knocked down almost instantly after leaving her car, because her door remained open and water rushed into her car, and sadly both she and her dog died as a result of this. And so this woman's name is Stephanie Salee. She and her dog Faith, her dog was Faith, they were victims of the terrible flooding in Delaware County. Stephanie's family wanted to share a few things about Stephanie. She had a heart for others. She never judged people. She persevered many trials in her life and remained a compassionate and loving person. Her family meant the world to her. She adored her nephews and grandkids and great-grandkids, and will be missed deeply by her family. Stephanie was 58 years old, lived in Muncie, and she unfortunately lost her life in a cornfield in the rural area of Yorktown on Friday. And kind of as a personal touch to this, she and I are roundabout related, we distantly. She is related to my grandfather that I talk about on here, Herb, my grandpa, that we all talk about and watch the program. He and my grandmother, Pauline. She's the daughter of, I believe, the granddaughter of one of my grandpa's brothers, I believe, is what the deal is. So that's what I think the situation is. And so that happened. There was an elderly couple that died in their house on the same road. Now, I will say this. I'm hearing conflicting reports about that. I've heard that was true, and then I've heard that that's not true. I have not been able to verify that at all. I've not been able to verify that an elderly couple died. The only two that I have absolutely been able to verify was this woman, her puppy, and Matthew. I know that there are a lot of people that are talking about an elderly couple, but I've not been able to verify that myself. So I do, like we did with Matthew, want to offer a moment of silence for Stephanie and her dog, and all our thoughts and prayers go out to her family. Isn't this so joyous? Wonderful, wonderful news that we're covering here. Lastly, right before I was coming on the program, I heard kind of another one of these really strange situations. I'm starting to get a lot of drainage. It's killing me. Sorry for all of the noises and the snotting and the snorting. I apologize. It's just what happens when we get to this point in the year, folks. I'll be doing this until next April, so long-time listeners know that's just kind of what goes on. But it's being reported, as was just put it here in the comments, that a bicyclist in Newcastle, this is just seems unbelievable to me. A bicyclist died in Newcastle after falling into a hole created by a collapsed road in Henry County this weekend. Officials believe the cyclist rode around flood barriers set up in the area before falling into the hole. And I mean, that's horrible. Definitely horribly sad. I don't know. I'm going to put this up. This is shared by Fox 59. And again, this is not something I've been able to independently verify, but Fox 59 has put this up. I don't know if this is the picture of the actual hole. I would have to think that it is. But I mean, come on. Come on. What is going on here that you would drive into this hole? Stumblefoot. I'm not trying to make fun or I mean, all right, 3:48 a.m., so it's dark out. How long has this hole been here? I mean, just this one leaves a lot of questions for me. And this one leaves a lot of questions. Did someone see him go into the hole? Okay, so Kay has sent us up here. At least 6 people have died in Indiana due to the severe storms and flooding, including a 4-year-old boy, a 19-year-old man, a 58-year-old woman. So, I mean, it hit all of us. I mean, details of the fatalities. 4-year-old boy in Jennings County killed when a tree fell on his home during the storms. God. And the 19-year-old man, of course, Maury, reported missing after entering the Mississinawa River. 58-year-old woman in Delaware County believed to have died while attempting to drive through floodwaters. Additional victims, 3 more fatalities were reported in Lake County, Porter County, and LaPorte County, including the 2 women and 1 man bringing the total confirmed to 6 deaths there. And then, of course, the 31-year-old man, wow, they've already named him, James Breyer of Newcastle, died in Henry County after riding around flood barricades and crashing into a collapsed road near the intersection of Riley Road and Crescent Drive. According to the Henry County Coroner's Office, Breyer fell into the hole created by the road collapse, which was part of the damage from severe flooding in the area. The Newcastle Police Department confirmed the incident occurred around 3:43 a.m. on Sunday, August 15th, 2026. This death is part of a larger storm-related toll. Indiana has now seen at least 7 confirmed fatalities from the flooding and several weather-related that began on August 11th. Other victims include the ones I had mentioned. So that's absolutely wild. So okay, that's a pretty big deal. Look at this. I want to show you guys this. This is a picture I'm just getting. They will be doing an autopsy, obviously. There's been some question about whether an autopsy, anytime there's an unattended death, it doesn't matter if you're 2, 10, 12, 25, 38, 100. 100 might. If you are not sick and you've not had other issues and it's an unattended death, there's going to be an autopsy. So that's just that. I mean, that's that. This is a picture. This will be interesting to see. This is a picture of this roadway. So what I can see here by looking at this picture is there are barricades on one side of the roadway, but there don't appear to be barricades on this side of the roadway. Now, far be it from me to make assumptions here. I don't know which way he went into the hole, but I'm just going to say it. If he went into the hole this way, that's a problem.
Well, that one might be on driver's side. This side. They've got them on what direction you'd be driving on
but
either
it's
side.
still on
but
that side of the hole.
That's wide open on the. Either way, it's wide open. One lane is wide open either way. Maybe 2 on one side of the hole. But either way,
what are you talking about? Are you saying that one is in front of the hole,
Kristopher?
No. Look.
Oh no, it's definitely on the other side. I can see the tape running in front of it.
This way.
I had to blow my screen up.
Yeah, I'm getting ready
really well.
I'm getting ready to show it up here.
Yeah, zoom it.
Because
why do they only have barricades on one side? I get the police tape. Is that on a hill?
Yeah, it's in a valley.
It's in a valley?
Yeah.
So you're riding your bike and it's wet out because this is 3 o'clock in the morning. It was pouring last night. Brakes went out and just lost it.
Or maybe, look, there's a lot of people, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of people making jokes about this, saying like natural selection, da-da-da. I mean, first of all, I get people's inclination to do that. You shouldn't be doing that. But this is a little bit more than that. I mean, they're going to have to tell me what side of because they keep saying he drove around the barricades. So they're making it seem like he came from that way. Now, I will say, if he came from that way, I question what the hell, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if he came from this way, I'm also hearing that these barricades weren't up the whole time. Now, that doesn't matter. If he drove around them, he drove around them. But, we'll have to see. Well, no. I don't know. I'm not willing to say the yellow and black tape was up. I think the yellow and black tape's only been put up since the death. I think they probably maybe just had the barricades. I don't know if that caution tape or police tape was up. I'll have to find out. I know people in the area. We'll have to find out. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it might be the city. It is in the city limits. So this would be city. Henry County Coroner's Office and the Newcastle Police Department are currently conducting a death investigation. A bicyclist identified as James Breyer, 31, of Newcastle, Indiana, was killed in a bicycle accident at the intersection of Crescent Drive and Riley Road. The incident occurred on August 16th, 2026. Next of kin have been notified, and an autopsy examination has been scheduled. Professionally, Brian Clark. Was Brian having a stroke when he wrote this? His signature? South End. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's exactly where I thought it was. That's where I thought it was. I'm pulling this up here just briefly so I can see. Give me a second. In this picture, are we aiming into Newcastle or are we aiming at 3? Is 3 behind us or is 3 ahead of us in this picture? I can't tell. Yeah. And the reason I'm saying that is because that driveway that driveway there is Crescent. So yeah, I was thinking, because, and the reason is you're coming down a hill. This is in a valley. So you're coming down a hill both ways. So, yeah, that's right. We're facing Main Street. Yeah. So 3 is behind us. In this picture, 3 is behind us. Can anybody tell me why there wouldn't have been barricades on this side of the road? So 3 is behind us. There couldn't have been any. Why would there have been barricades? Even if there were barricades there. So I'm going to show you guys what we're looking at on the map here, so everybody has a full understanding of where we're looking. Because barricades at 3 wouldn't matter, because even if they were there are houses between 3 and Crescent. There were no barricades or caution tape when it happened. So, to the person that's texting me that, I will not reveal you, obviously, but let me ask you this. Are you saying the barricades were only put there after the accident? The top of the hill where 4 days? The top of the hill towards Main Street or the top of the hill towards 3? There's 2 top of the hills. We're in a valley. So let me show you what we're looking at here, folks. Here's Newcastle. Here's 3. Here's State Road 3. And north is up here at the top. And south is down here. Okay. And here's Riley Road. All right. So the gas station, Casey's, is right here. Well, then right behind Casey's, you have houses here. 201, 211, 219. Here's Acres Drive. You've got all this. You've got this driveway. Here's Crescent right here. So if you go back and you look in this picture basically is happening just right at Crescent. Crescent Drive is right here. Right here is Crescent Drive, and here's the hole. Now, going back to this, okay, looking at what we're looking at here, here's Crescent Drive, and here's the big hole in the road. Here's the big hole. So if we zoom out of here, okay, we're in the valley right there. The big hill is like right around here, and there's right around here. So this goes down in a hill. And what I'm hearing, there were barricades on both sides. But on the west side, the barricades were at the hill and not at the road. So when the city and everyone is saying that he drove around the barricades, he drove around the barricades right around here, where literally everybody else is, to going into these driveways and into these offshoots and into these little areas. Okay. So he's doing, everybody else is too. The fact that there were not barricades in front of that hole is insane. They had just replaced the gas lines in the area, and with all of the water, it was washed out the dirt and caused it to fall in. Well, so I just asked a source that would know which way he was coming from. And I'm hearing that the police and everyone involved they're collecting video to see which way he was going. I will tell you this. I'm going to go ahead and make the guesstimate that he had to have been from the west heading east. He had to have been heading eastbound. And I fully believe that the evidence will prove that he was heading eastbound. Did you come up here? Oh, I thought it looked like you were starting to come up. So yeah, that's a horrible situation. I didn't know that this was going to get that in depth. I thought we were just going to talk about the fact that he died. This will be a big deal. This will be a big deal. The situation with the Maury, it's sad, it's horrible, but it's just a case of young men doing dumb stuff, and that sometimes happens. I mean, it sucks. I'm not making light of it. I'm not. It sucks, but whatever. It's tragic. Still tragic. The situation with Salee, the woman, horrible, tragic situation. It was the case of a 58-year-old doing some dumb stuff. This seems not good. I'm going to make you guys aware that we are getting ready to listen to the 911 call or the police radio traffic. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. I have not listened to this. I generally will listen to these things ahead of time. I have not listened to this. So, sometimes police traffic can be, traumatizing. So just an FYI, I just want to let you guys know. So we are going to listen to this, and we'll hear what goes on here.
Dispatch 345.
345.
I've got a 10-0 subject on Riley Road where the dispatch 345.
345.
I've got a 10-0 subject on Riley Road where the road felon.
What did he say?
Riley Road where the road felon.
Where the what?
45. Road felon.
Where the road fell in.
45. 10-0 subject, Riley Road, where the hole fell in. 10-4, go ahead and hold the scene. Dispatcher's on call investigator. 10-4, go ahead and hold the scene. Dispatcher's on call investigator.
Bilbrey.
10-4.
Did you advise Riley and Crescent?
Affirm. What did you come in by? What did you come in by? What did you come in by? Came off of State Road 3. 10-4.
Newcastle Fire, Newcastle Medics, Riley and Crescent, signal 8, law enforcement for 10-0 subject.
Newcastle Fire, Newcastle Medics, Riley and Crescent, signal law enforcement, approaching 0 subject.
That's a good question.
Engine 3.
Medic 3.
Medic 3.
Just for 43, it looks like possibly a 1050 on a bicycle. Just for 43, it looks like possibly a 1050 on a bicycle.
Okay. So he says just for 43, which is information. So just giving you information, it looks like a 1050, which is a crash.
Just for 43, it looks like possibly a 1050 on a bicycle.
1050 on a bicycle.
You have the police caution tape. You have the police caution tape.
You have police caution tape. Affirm.
There's already plenty of caution tape at the bridge.
There's already plenty of caution tape at the bridge.
From the east side. I'll get it taken care of from the east side.
Okay, so he said he'll get it taken care of from the east side. We'll hear what goes on here.
36 is out on Riley.
10-4.
Dispatch, Medic 3.
Medic 3.
Can you advise which side of Riley we need to come in on?
Here we go.
245 dispatch.
Good.
Direction do medics need to come in from?
They can come in for either way. They want to park at Riley and Crescent. Fire is searching from that way. Road's blocked off either way it goes. Have them coming off of Riley Road and State Road 3.
Yeah.
Advising to come in off of Riley and State Road 3. They're in the barricades.
Alva, the hole is at the bridge, basically. If you go back, if you look at it, you can see there's a culvert there on the road, and there's like, it's not like a bridge. It's like this culvert, and that's what's going on. That is right. That is absolutely right. No, it has barriers next to the hole coming from the east side. The other side has barriers coming from up by 3. So, from what I'm gathering, there's you see my here's Crescent Drive, and if you see my cursor, here's where the hole is. Here's the culvert. Let me see if I can do it like this. This will probably show us more. Okay, right here. Here's a hill going out to 3. And here we're in this little ditch, and you can see where the road's been cut up, and they've done work here. And then here's Crescent. This is actually really good. So it's this part right here. It's actually this right here that's cut out. Here, all of that is cut out. Because there's the culvert, the edge of the culvert here. And so this is what's been cut out here. So there are barricades right here. Right here, there's barricades. Right here. But as far as the other side, the barricades are farther up the hill. Up here. Which, is crazy because here's a house and here's a house. So people are going around those barricades. And who knows, he might have seen somebody do just that. And thought, oh, well, it's good, and then went. This is now not so open and shut anymore. You know, this will end up being a big deal.
Medic 323.
So the medic is on scene.
Dispatch 83. Go ahead, contact 79.
That's the coroner. Contact the coroner.
The 79's en route.
Coroner's en route.
But two transport.
Thank you.
If you turn out engine 4 and have them bring a stoked basket to this location.
Get him out.
Engine 4. Riley Road and Crescent Drive. Riley Road and Crescent Drive. Engine 3 is requesting a Stokes basket.
Engine 4.
Engine 4.
3-1. Engine 4, 3-1. Go ahead, 3-1. Come down Main to Riley. 10-4, we'll come down Main to Riley. Dispatch 7-1. Mark me 41, please.
10-4.
That's 223.
223.
What time did you get the water department's alarm?
Stand by. 219.
Oh, thank you.
The 4 is out.
Engine 4.
Okay.
23-7-1.
Go, sir.
I'm getting ready to go 23. Which side of the bridge you on?
We've got someone on the south side of the bridge. That's going to be the easiest place to get to him. Fire is taking up his north side, so you'll be a little bit closer. 10-4. You'll be fine coming up to us.
Dispatch MS411's back in service.
All right, it's basically over. So
33 service.
That's that. Horrible situation. Sounds like there will be a lot going on with this, and we'll have to wait and find out what everybody says. That is a crazy deal. I probably thought these barricades were on the same side as the hole. I probably thought those barricades were on the same side of the hole he was on. Oh, he probably thought. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Yeah, horrible situation. Sad that all this death has come from this. And so that actually is a good thing that leads me into the next part of the conversation here and what we're going to end on. So as we ended last week, we were talking about a very serious situation that occurred in Muncie, Delaware County while this flood was going on. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go on during high crime, natural disaster situations, fires, bad winter storm, a lot of crashes, people out driving, apparently these crazy ass floods. Lots of things go on, and in those cases, you need police, fire, EMS, a highway department, the coroner, volunteer firemen. People need to be able to call into dispatch. Dispatch needs to be able to tell people. And what came to our attention, I did not go looking for this. I didn't wake up while my property was flooding and think, ooh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick a fight with Fred Cummins of the 911 Delaware County Police, Fire, EMS Dispatch, City Muncie, Delaware County Dispatch Center. I like Fred Cummins. I don't have a problem with Fred Cummins. I still don't have a problem with Fred Cummins. This is not a thing that I even remotely thought about. As someone, I will be one of those guys to tell you, I consider myself somewhat of a prepper. Definitely in the firearms, ammunition, keeping your head on a swivel, medical, keeping up to date on CPR, and I've got tourniquets and medicines saved, and I want to get in to start really prepping like food. You know, we've done some, but I consider myself a little bit of a prepper. I would like to get into being a ham radio operator. I think that would be interesting. That would be neat. But as a police officer, having been a first responder, I never gave a thought to dispatch. I didn't give a damn about it. I didn't think about it one way. I got to work. I had a police car, had a radio, had a gun. You know, I trained with my gun and I was supposed to answer calls. I assumed that dispatch is going to make sure that the radio works. I never thought about it. I never learned about it. I've talked to some people during this event, and people were like, every time they talk to me, they're like, well, you were a cop, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you're talking about dispatch, yeah, I didn't know a damn thing about it. I didn't care about any of that stuff. You know, I just didn't think about it. I never had a problem. I've had shitty radios. We all have that. Try to get on when something crazy's going on. You're in a pursuit. A bunch of people are talking. You key up the radio and it blurps because the repeaters are, you know, everybody's talking at once and it's just overloaded. That happens. Or you go into a specific building and it's, you know, anytime we'd go into the county building, you couldn't get out for shit in the county building because it was cement and it, you know, what. So outside of that, I never thought about it. So when I started hearing from men and women in uniform across various departments within the city that there was a major issue, communications, here's what they were saying. They weren't saying, oh, to hell with dispatch. They're screwing us out here. We're in trouble. They were saying, look, we know that things happen. We know that things go down. What we don't understand is why was there not a plan B, a second, a backup to the backup, a plan D, a plan E in place to ensure this kind of shit doesn't happen. Now, since all of this has happened, I have been far more educated about what's going on. And I'm only going to say this once right now. I kind of think what's happening currently as we speak is kind of a game of semantics, and that happens a lot of times in politics. But I'm not going to talk much more on that until we get more information. I just want to let you know that's what I think is happening. So where we kind of left off is, as you may know if you've been watching, or if you haven't, we'll give you a little bit of an update. Wednesday, when all the stuff started happening, life was going on, didn't think anything about it. Thursday morning, Wednesday into Thursday, I didn't sleep any because we had shit going on. We had cars going off the road into the water and all kind of shit happened here on the property. So I was up most of the night, and starting pretty early into 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm starting to talk to people on the Muncie Police Department, Muncie Fire Department. I'm starting to hear there's issue with radios. And then I hear from a source of mine. It's a higher ranking supervisor. And he's like, dude, the radios are shit. And we're in trouble. And then I got the end of shift report. Now, it has since been published on it. The end of shift report has, oh yeah, absolutely. Bocephus, that's 100%. I have since published this, but I'm going to put this up here because I don't think that I put it up on the screen yet. I don't know that you guys have officially seen it live. So I'm going to put this up here for everyone to be able to see on the show. And I want to be clear. I didn't make any of this up. None of this came from my brain. I had no desire to do this. This is a Muncie Police Department end of shift report. The Muncie police officers, the higher ranking always gives each shift, they give the end of the shift report to the next shift coming on. Subject is radio outage. I mean, hell, they didn't even talk about anything else going on in the call. They just subject radio outage from Muncie Police Lieutenant Justin Peters, Unit 14. Radios went in and out for the majority of the shift. His words, not mine. Approximately 4 a.m., dispatch called to advise the main Motorola tower, 18th and Sampson, was discovered to be underwater. His words, not mine. At approximately 4:45 a.m., they called to say that the paging tone system for fire EMS was already down with no ETA to fix it. Estimated time of arrival, or, ETA, no time that it was going to be fixed. His words, not mine. They, dispatch, said the local radio repair contact, Bruce Dunn, shouldn't be doing this. Those are my words. Was out at the tower trying to come up with a solution. However, they said there is no plan B. His words, their words, not mine. And when that tower goes down, not even dispatch will be able to communicate with us via police radio. His words, not mine. Okay? Now, I'm sure that there's ways they can go get a portable and do things, but it's just the plan is radio doesn't work or wasn't going to be working the way that they thought. I am assuming that that's something that he's been told, okay? Not my words, okay? They further advise that they are intentionally going to have AEP shut all the power off to the tower soon, which will disable all MPD radios and dispatch to save what components were savable from the tower. His words, not mine. There was no explanation of what the next steps are or what kind of ETA there is for repairs, etc. As of now, we are only responding to priority 1 calls, and radio is calling supervisors' cell phones so we can dispatch officers from there. We have been sending 2 or 3 officers out to each call since communications is an issue. Stay safe out there today. Lieutenant Justin Peters. That's not my words, okay? I saw that. I talked to other people, and I put out my post, okay? And I said, look, I've not talked to the elected officials. I've not talked to anybody in between. I'm just letting you guys know, this is what I'm being told. And I just want you guys to know this is what's happening. So I just, I want you guys to know that. Well, then the city didn't answer any emails. Commissioners didn't answer any emails. They do a special meeting on Thursday. And in the special meeting, that's when Fred Cummins says, contrary to what's been put out on social media, radios are not dead. They're not down, and then he goes back and forth. Some things have happened, but they're not working. Things are good, but it's bad. Don't know how long it's going to be. It's not a problem. It's going to be fixed, but don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to cost 7 figures. All of that stuff. Okay. Now, I didn't say he flat out called me a liar, but, he was basically claiming, all I was doing was going off of police officers' words who allegedly talked to dispatch and this end of shift report. That's all I did. And I reached out to them for answers. Okay. I've read you the emails that I sent to the city of Muncie and have yet to have a response. Does the city have a statement regarding the serious public safety communications problems affecting Muncie Police, Fire, and EMS dispatch operations during the current flooding emergency? Now, I want to be clear. Delaware County runs the dispatch. Okay, it's Delaware County, Muncie City Dispatch, but it's Delaware County's operation. City has very little to do with that, other than we pay $1 million a year into dispatch. We pay $1 million straight off the top, straight out of the go. Bank, okay? $1 million. That's it. Okay. It's odd with all the flooding going off that this was the only thing he felt that next shift needed to know. Well, that Kate put that up. That's a good thing here. Okay. Well, let's be honest here. Because communication issues is a pretty big thing for people in uniform doing that. So that's why, because police officers wouldn't tell a lie. Now, there might be times that you can question that. I think when they're talking to other cops about the communications issues, I feel like he's probably being pretty straightforward. Here's the other situation with what Kid Rock is saying. There were a lot of people out there that have scanners and were listening to Citizens Ear, and they have all reported that it all hit the fan and shit went sideways and there's nothing. I had one person say they were listening to traffic in Madison County. They're listening to Anderson, Madison County radio, and all of a sudden Muncie starts popping up over there. They didn't even know what was going on because that's how the system works. So there's Indiana has 92 counties, and there's like 98 towers all throughout, somewhere around there, between 90 and 98 is what I'm hearing. Towers all throughout Indiana, and it's owned by the state. And they repeat, and it's essentially like a daisy chain. So if one goes down, it jumps to the next. But you have different frequencies, and the frequencies that they run on, are VHF and 800. And 800 doesn't go as far, so that it doesn't reach as far, so it doesn't work as best. VHF does, but it apparently went down. So I reached out to the city and to the county and asked Dan, Chief of Police, Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe, Communications Director Amber Green. No one responded. We pay $1 million a year. That's Muncie, yes. Dispatch cost is way more than $1 million. County, Delaware County, which is you as a Delaware County citizen, pay in Delaware County pays a lot, but of that share, Muncie pays $1 million a year. It used to be $800,000. It was $800,000 for a long time. And then a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe longer than that, maybe back during 19, 20, 21, somewhere around in there, it went to $1 million a year. We now pay $1 million a year for the 911 operations. And we have people that sit on the 911 board. So I know that part is not a city issue. However, it's Dan's responsibility to keep his officers safe. He has an obligation. Okay. Not only as officers, but as firemen, as EMS, and moreover, his public. Okay. And look, I get it. He did Muncie well. He was on CNN and doing all this, but he wasn't addressing a pretty big issue. Okay. That's a good question, Kid Rock. Hopefully one of these days we'll get them answered. I don't know. So I sent out a follow-up email. Still the next day, still waiting on a reply from the mayor, chief police, somebody. They've not provided anything to me yet. I sent along the end of shift report so they would see I had it. And then I asked if they had a projected cost of repairs. Okay. Nothing, still nothing. I also asked if we were still answering only priority 1 calls, and if they could answer when that happened. And I received nothing from that. Okay. Now, from my perspective as a former police officer, and I'm not sure it's changed a lot, I'm just going to tell you, a priority 1 call from my perspective is the highest priority category of a police fire EMS call. It's something requiring immediate response because there's an active or immediate situation, a threat to life or serious bodily harm, some kind of active violent crime, a shooting, a stabbing, a person with a weapon, domestic violence, a serious car crash with injury. If you have a car crash and your front fender crashes in and breaks your headlight out, and it crunches my back fender, and it bust out my back tail light, but we're not injured and everything's okay, that's not a serious priority. Yeah, you want police to come and do it, but in an event like this, you have to triage. It's a serious injury if accidents are serious injury if there's personal injury or if it is unknown. If it's unknown, you treat it like it could be until you know. But so those are priority one things, okay? Officer needing emergency assistance, robbery in progress, something like that, okay? That's the thing. Now, they might specifically have changed or named new calls that are priority one. And so for that reason, I've specifically asked him to detail that. That would be something that would be deemed by the law enforcement agencies and by dispatch. And so I've asked for a specific updated definition from their end on that. Still refuse to answer any of these questions. Okay. Nothing. Not received anything from the city. Okay. Then I like I told you, I sent questions to county. Commissioner Sherry Riggins, Shannon Henry, Stephen Brand, 911 Director Fred Cummings. During the early morning hours of Thursday, August 13th, multiple sources within the Police Department of Muncie, Fire Department of Muncie, reached out to the political spotlight to express frustration over communication issues, dispatch radio issues. A couple of these sources sent me in a shift report that I have, all the same one from Justin Peters, and I sent it to them so they could see it. I reached out to you guys, reached out to the city with nothing. During the special meeting, Director Fred Cummings made comments disputing the information that the political spotlight had published. As I understood those remarks, my reporting was being characterized as false or inaccurate, basically. I'm therefore providing you with the opportunity to explain to me what those issues are. Here's the end of shift report. Here's what I've been told. None of these words are my words. Our breaking news report was based primarily on what was occurring within the city of Muncie and Muncie Police Department, Muncie Fire Department, and their EMS. I specifically and respectfully stated that the article did not know anything about what was going on in Delaware County, Delaware County EMS, Sheriff's Department, whatever, although I'm pretty certain, as I have been always, that it's all in the same system. So I'm just letting you know there. With that distinction being made, I would like clarification regarding the information contained in Lieutenant Peters' report. According to the report, MPD personnel were either dealing with or were being advised that police radios, communications were down, and everything that I've read you in there, okay? First important question is straightforward. Is Lieutenant Peters' end of shift report incorrect? If any of the information above is inaccurate, please identify which statements are incorrect and provide the correct information. If you're saying I've got incorrect information, then correct the record. You have that obligation. Okay? It's absolutely crazy to me. I would also appreciate clarification regarding the scope of the incident. Were the communications problems limited primarily to Muncie, fire-based EMS, and so on? Or were Delaware County Sheriff's Department, County EMS volunteer fire departments, and other public safety agencies affected as well? Was MPD ever only answering priority one calls, or was that incorrect? If so, how long? Is that still happening? Additionally, I'm requesting an update on the current situation. Has the communications problem now been completely resolved? If so, when was that full service restored? What caused the failure, and what repairs or corrective actions were required? If the system has not been completely restored, what capabilities remain affected? Finally, I would like a statement regarding the contingency plan going forward. Regardless of whether every agency in Delaware County was affected, the information provided to MPD personnel raises legitimate questions about redundancy within communication systems relied on by police officers, firefighters, paramedics, dispatchers, emergency personnel of the public that citizens are paying for. Whether it's county citizens or city citizens, it is being paid for. What backup or contingency systems are available during this incident? Were those backup systems adequate? Okay. Following what occurred, will commissioners and 911 Communications Center review or strengthen contingency plans that the primary tower if it fails. Flooding event, similar emergency cannot leave first responders without dependable communications. I recognize that this flooding event was extraordinary. My purpose in asking these questions is not to exaggerate what occurred, but to establish precisely what happened. That information was what information was accurate, what has since been corrected, and what will be done moving forward. If Director Cummings believes the Political Spotlight reported something incorrectly, I welcome the opportunity to correct the record, but I need to know specifically what was incorrect, particularly in light of the information contained in Lieutenant Peters' report. I would appreciate a detailed response from Director Cummings and or the commissioners addressing these questions. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Ryan, at 100%. It would be, it should be, and to my knowledge, it still is. No one has told me that things are back to normal yet. So yes, it would be affecting Gaston, Eaton, Albany, Daleville, Yorktown, Selma, 100%. The only department that, to my knowledge, could be Ball State, because they have their own dispatch. And I think they have their own tower, but I do think that they use a lot of county stuff too. So I'm not 100% sure. I can't answer that. All right. After I sent that email, I finally received the response from one of the elected officials. Doop, 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 doop. Nope. I finally received an answer from county attorney. Now, I find that to be very interesting because nothing that I requested was a legal issue. It was all straightforward. And I like Danielle Struble. I like Danielle Struble. I have no issue with her. Okay, I like her. I like her a lot more than John Brooke.
It's a legal issue, though, Christopher, if you're playing a mad game of cover your ass.
What?
It's a legal issue if you're playing a mad game of cover your ass.
Yeah, 100%. And I was talking to Kate about this, and I think really the only reason that it's like this is, number one, they basically said my information was wrong. So I think that might be, but then also they're afraid of like what might come from this, or God forbid if somebody got hurt or something, those kind of things. Okay. So you're right, Freedom Fighter. And this all happened on Friday. So you guys don't know this because Thursday was the last show, because Thursday is the end of our week. So this happened on Friday. So Danielle Struble responded to me at 10:45 p.m. on Friday, August 14th. Somebody working late. I can appreciate that. Okay. Danielle Struble says, Chris, I didn't know we were there. Danielle says, Chris, we will take a look at this at our earliest convenience and get the appropriate response to you. What? What? What in the what? I like Danielle. I don't have a problem with her. So I wrote back to Danielle and I said, Danielle, hey, well, thank you for your response. As always, I appreciate you and I appreciate the good work you do. That said, I'll be candid. I'm more than a little disappointed that fairly straightforward questions directed to 3 elected county officials and 1 appointed official received no response from any of them. Instead, my inquiry was forwarded to county legal counsel for review. My frustration is not with you, and I want to make that clear. But with all due respect, I was not asking questions that require complex legal input or analysis. While you and John serve an important role in county council, neither of you were elected by the people of Delaware County. My questions were directed to the officials accountable to the public for these systems and decisions. The situation itself is fairly straightforward. During the flooding emergency, I received information from multiple members of public safety in the city of Muncie. including sources from the Muncie Fire Department, EMS, and Muncie Police Department, both rank-and-file personnel and higher-ranking officials. Based on those communications, along with the end-of-shift report provided to me, the Political Spotlight published a breaking news article about the communications issues first responders in Muncie said they were experiencing. For reference, I included a copy of that end-of-shift report with my original email to the commissioners and Fred, but I will also attach one here to you as well. Then, during Thursday's special emergency meeting, I heard comments from the 911 director indicating that the information in my report was apparently incorrect. My questions in the original email were simple. If something I reported was incorrect, can you explain what specifically was incorrect? If I was in fact incorrect, please lay out what actually occurred with the communication system. Who was affected? Was MPD at any point limited to priority 1 calls? Has the problem now been completely resolved? If so, when was it resolved and how was it done? If it has not been fully resolved, what remains affected and when will restoration be expected? Finally, what contingency planning existed and what will be done going forward to ensure first responders have reliable communications if something, God forbid, like this happens again? I am not looking for a fight. I am not trying to manufacture controversy. I am simply looking for the truth. If my reporting was incorrect, tell me where and provide the correct information. I have no problem correcting the facts if the facts support a correction, but these seem like questions that Fred and or the commissioners, the elected officials responsible for county government and emergency communications, should be able to answer directly. So I suppose we will wait to hear back from you or hopefully from the officials themselves once everyone has had an opportunity to review the questions and the information I provided. Again, for the record, my frustration here is not with you personally. It is the fact that straightforward questions posed to elected officials were immediately referred to legal counsel rather than answered by those officials. Lastly, for the record, there are a couple of important follow-up questions for the commissioners and you, I guess, but it will really depend on how these questions are handled. And sadly, I will not be I will not be giving that information until we get these questions answered, because I don't want to tip my hand to these guys. So then that sent out Friday. Well, Saturday morning at 7:54 Saturday morning, I received an email from Stephen Brand. Who knew? Who knew? You know? So here's Stephen's response. Mr. Bilbrey, I'm responding to acknowledge receipt of your inquiry regarding public safety communications during the August 12th, 13th flooding event. My out-of-office notification was activated yesterday, and I trust you received that notice. I did not. I did not receive that notice. The questions you have raised require more than an off-the-top-of-the-head response for me personally, particularly given the seriousness of the event and the importance of accurately understanding what occurred. Your inquiry has been forwarded to others who can assist in providing the appropriate information when time allows. At a high level, I can say that the backup and failover communication processes in place worked, and emergency communications continued despite the flooding of the Sampson Avenue Tower Control Building. At this point, I am not aware of any critical communication misses or public consequences resulting from this once-in-our-lifetime flood, which bested the previous crest record by almost 5 feet. Motorola was on site quickly to assist county resources. The response team was kept informed through the established processes, and backup communications channels were utilized effectively as necessary. I also recognize that communications during the emergency of this magnitude is difficult, and I experience incorrect and incomplete public perception and I experience incorrect or incomplete public perception regarding county operations on a daily basis. That is one reason I believe it is important to take time to establish the facts before responding definitively to any public inquiry. I do not intend to confirm or dispute the end-of-shift report by Lieutenant Peters, as I believe he was doing his job to the best of his ability with the information he was provided and how he interpreted that information. Well, I can tell you this. I appreciate Brand, and I know he works like a Rain Man level brain. And he's like a computer. People think he's a cyborg, but not being able to pop off pretty. I mean, look, I'm not asking serious questions. I'm saying, did it work? Did it not work? Do we need more? Do we not need more? What's the cost? I truly hope he doesn't plan going any higher than local government, because like this man shouldn't be president, probably shouldn't be governor. I don't even know about state representative at this point, because if you can't give, if it takes days to review questions and responses, I'm not going to bust his balls too hard on this. Great. Take all the time you need. I don't know, man. I guess we just live in a world where elected officials, like everything else, you used to buy a couch and it would last 70 years. Now you buy a couch and it lasts 3 months. We used to have elected officials who could think for themselves and respond. And now it takes teams and hours and days and weeks. Sounds like a mayor's response. Absolutely. Well, no, it doesn't, because so far, mayor's response is to say absolutely nothing. Exactly, dick. Okay. So I responded to Brand, and I said, Commissioner Brand, thank you for your response. I appreciate you taking time to reply and provide some initial information. I will anxiously await any follow-up responses from you and or the other commissioners or others involved once everyone has had the opportunity to fully review what occurred and develop a more complete understanding of the situation. Given the seriousness and complexity of the flooding event, I understand that some of these questions may take time to answer thoroughly. I look forward to receiving that additional information soon, hopefully. I also want to clarify one small point from your email. You mentioned that your out-of-office notification was activated and that you trusted I had received it. I've reviewed my inbox, my spam folder, and my trash folder. I have not been able to locate any out-of-office notification from your email account. This certainly is not a major issue. I just wanted to bring it to your attention in case there may have been an issue with the automatic response system. You may want to verify that it is functioning properly. Again, thank you for responding. I appreciate it, and I look forward to the additional information once everyone has had time to fully process and review what happened. Thank you. I wanted to know if we needed safe space to hide and be able to answer emails, but I left that out. I just wrote what I wrote and sent what I sent because I thought it was polite. So this is strange, okay? Something clearly happened at the Sampson Avenue communication site. The one question is not whether there was an incident. It is exactly what failed, how much service was degraded, and how long that degradation of the services lasted. Is it still lasting? Is it still happening? Who was affected? And how effective was the backup system that's apparently in place? All right. Basically, we're getting two descriptions of the same emergency, and this must be reconciled with facts. If they're saying I don't have the facts, then they need to bring the facts. Why can they not bring the facts? Yeah, I mean, you're telling me we're going to have later communicate. I'm quoting Fred Cummings now. Fred Cummings said, we need to have conversations here in the near future about something that's going to cost upwards of 7 figures. You mean to tell me we got a 7-figure non-issue? Holy shit. That's crazy. You know, public safety communications problems are serious. I get it that this was a historic flood that apparently is going to happen once a week now or something. I don't know what's going on with the rain. Hopefully we don't have this for another 100 years. It's not about the event. It's about an event. When shit hits the fan, folks, that's why I tell you, listen, it sounds like I'm bitching because I think these people are going to save me or you. They're not. You must be prepared to save your own selves. You must make yourself right with the man upstairs because only Jesus saves. And outside of that, if you're specifically dealing with 911, Delaware County, or whatever's happening around here, you are shit out of luck. All right? So, I don't know. We now have more information than we had Thursday morning, including a substantive response, temporarily substantive response from Delaware County Commissioner Stephen Brand, but we still don't have answers to most of the basic questions. I am not claiming tonight, nor have I claimed since I first made my post, that the entire 911 system simply just disappeared. That is not what the evidence establishes. That's not what I laid out in my initial post. It's not what I've ever told you guys. But what I know happened is we do have a first-hand accounts from public safety personnel, and we have an end-of-shift report from Muncie Police Department Lieutenant Justin Peters that Brand said he's not going to dispute, describing serious communications problems, and now a county commissioner stating that the backup and failover systems worked and emergency communications continued. So he's like not going to dispute what Justin Peters said while disputing what Justin Peters said. Which is it? The descriptions, I'll be fair, sound contradictory, and we need to clear it up. They don't necessarily have to be. A backup system can keep emergency communications alive while normal operations are degraded. Radios can work intermittently while alternative channels remain available. A dispatch center can continue functioning while particular paging or radio functions are impaired. Okay, I get it. But our job moving forward is to separate what we know from what we don't and identify the specific facts that will reconcile these situations, these accounts. Okay, let's rectify this. Let's reconcile what we know from what we don't. But we need our elected officials' help. No one still responded from the city. Here's what I think is important. Peter's end of shift report says officers were being told. Okay. And I get that. I want to know who they were being told from, because there's somebody in this mix that's between Fred Cummings and Peters. Was it just a, dispatch person working the console, supervisor? I want to know who. I want to know where the information was coming from and what information was being told. I want to know whose idea it was to go to the priority 1 calls. I heard that they were being dispatched off cell phone calls. It might have been worse in certain areas, but I disagree. I think the overall flood was worse. What are you talking about? You're nuts. The overall flood throughout East Central Indiana has not been seen since 1913 or before. That's crazy. Brand acknowledged the flooding of the Sampson Avenue Tower. Okay. And I cannot believe I got to keep saying this to people. People keep saying, you're an idiot. The tower was never underwater. The tower goes up in the air like hundreds of feet. Well, no shit. But the little brick building next to it that contains all the electronics, okay, it flooded. So for an example, go hold a stick in the air, get in the bathtub with a toaster, and tell me, does the stick get flooded? Or does something happen with the toaster in the water? I get that the tower wasn't underwater. I don't know. People are ignorant, I guess. Brand says the backup and failover communications processes were in place and they worked. He's not aware of any critical communications misses or public consequences resulting from the event. I think it's wild. And I think the craziest thing he says is he does not intend to confirm or dispute Peter's report. But then immediately he disputes it with everything he said before that. And they can both be right in certain aspects, but we've got to have facts to prove that. Brand's response is significant because it does establish that county leadership does not describe this as a total communications collapse. He says the failover worked and the emergency communications continued. And I get it. Cool. All right. I'm cool with that. But he does not establish everything functioned normally. Communications continued is not the same statement as every police, fire, EMS paging, dispatch function remained fully available without interruption. Those are different standards. If Lieutenant Peters' report was an understandable description of what officers were being told in real time, where did that information originate, and why did the information reaching MPD sound so much more severe than the account that the county leadership is now providing? And where the hell is the city mayor? I get that he's looking pretty and doing great stuff on CNN, but if he's leaving his people high and dry or low and underflow or something, I don't know, whatever you want to say, that's a problem. The other thing that we have to be careful with is I've never said 911 went down. There's a difference between call taking and radio dispatching. Okay? Did the public's ability to dial 911 remain operational throughout the event? I've always said that I thought it did. I've never heard anyone say anything outside of that. Okay. Were dispatcher to first responder radio channels degraded? I believe so. Okay. Moreover, what are we going to be spending money on here in the near future? These type of things need to be asked. What we still don't have, and this is important, as of tonight, based on the correspondence and everything we have in hand, the remaining open, this remains open or completely unanswered. Exactly what equipment or functions failed, flooded, or became obsolete, not working, ruined. What time did the communications problem begin, and what time did each of the affected functions fail, and or if you're saying they returned, what time did they return to normal? Was MPD actually limited to priority calls? If yes, when did that restriction start and end? What does MPD define as a priority call, or dispatch define as a priority one call outside of my description of it? I gave you my description. I want to hear what dispatch is saying. Did fire EMS paging tone system go down? If so, for how long? When did it come back up? Were MPD radios intermittent? If so, for how long and across what area? Did that happen for the small towns, for the county? Were dispatchers using supervisors' cell phones and other non-standard communications for field coordination? If so, I applaud them for that. But that's also not the right way. Okay. Did AEP disconnect power to Sampson Avenue site? If yes, when and for how long? What exact backup failover system were activated? Did they provide fully functional or emergency continuity only? Was Delaware County Sheriff's Office, as I say, all those affected? Is normal service currently restored? I mean, I feel like they don't want to answer fully until service is fully restored. So we're not going to get an answer for a month. You know, are we fully restored today? What equipment must be repaired or replaced after today? What's the project like that going to cost? Who owns the affected infrastructure? Who will pay? It's going to cost the county and the city, I promise you. What challenges, if any, will be made in a situation moving forward? So that's where we are. I'm also extremely upset that we've sent initial inquiries to Ridenhour and Chief Police Nate Sloan and Communications Director Amber Green. We followed up and they've refused to respond. I have a really major problem with that. I commend Brand for his response. His answer is not complete, but I appreciate what he sent, and it does advance the story. I don't know. We'll see. This does not have to become a scandal or deserve major scrutiny. Maybe the backups performed exactly as designed. Maybe they just weren't enough. Maybe no one thought the flood was going to be crazy. You know what I mean? If so, just explain what happened. They need to just explain what happened. If it didn't, explain what happened. The purpose of examining this is not to assign blame specifically for the sake of explaining, to laying out blame. It's to determine what worked, what did not work, what nearly didn't work, and what should be stronger before the next emergency. And I know I've been repeating this constantly, but I'm going to continue repeating it. What specifically failed or became degraded? Was MPD actually restricted to priority 1 calls? If so, how long? What exactly were the backup failover systems Commissioner Brand says worked? How do those successful backups reconcile with the conditions described in Lieutenant Peters' report? Is normal service completely restored today? And today keeps changing. And what repairs or replacements will cost moving forward? What changes will be made before the next catastrophic event? Commissioner Brand says he's not aware of any critical communications misses or public consequences. And that's important if nobody was harmed. I get it. Everybody should be grateful. If this was a successful failover under extraordinary conditions, the public should be shown why it succeeded and where it was strained. I want to applaud them if they did everything great. I don't feel like that happened. I think if that would have, I wouldn't have been being contacted by several people in uniform Thursday morning and then getting this end of shift report. If first responders are receiving information that made them believe there's no plan B, we should understand why. If there is no plan B, we should understand why. We should work on getting a plan B as soon as freaking possible. I am not asking you or the officials or anyone else to adopt my version of the events. I am asking for their version. I'm asking them to put facts on the table so the public can understand the event from the beginning to end. What failed, what worked, what didn't. That's all. 2 descriptions of the same emergency. One being documented from the field by these people in uniform, public officials, public safety, first responders, and one official account saying, everything was successful, and one official account that's hiding their head up their ass. The job is to now reconcile all of this, and we will continue to do that. And I will bring that to you as soon as possible. As we start to get back into other political related context and things going on, I will bring that to you as well. We are working on this system. We're still working on this. That's the answer right there. That right there. If they were able to make themselves look good in this situation, you couldn't have shut them up. That tells everything that someone needs to know. We are working on fixing this internet problem. I swear to you, we are. We are working on it daily. I am doing everything I can to bring you the JD episode this week. I hope that we'll be able to do that. I fully believe that we'll be able to do that. I need to ask Brandon how his internet adventure went over the weekend. I'll do that as soon as we get off air. He'll probably respond tomorrow. And we will be back tomorrow night with a new episode and episode 718. Be sure to hit the like button before you leave. That would be fantastic. We would love it if you do, even if you don't. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people affected by this flood. And we'll see you on the next episode, 718. Goodbye.